So we are going to start. Stay seated for a couple of minutes, not too long. So, and then we'll start a practice. And I actually want to talk a little bit about dharana, about the concentration. So when we practice dharana, we concentrate on one point. So in our world, multitasking is like, yes. And you often not think about multitasking when you, by example, you're doing the dishes and you're listening to music. Those are already two tasks. So we're multitasking everywhere in our life. So today, I want you to focus, when we're practicing, I want you to focus on one thing. And that can be your breath, or that can be really feeling in one certain part of your body, or it can be calming the mind, like really coming back into your body, whatever you decide to choose. And it can be different in different poses. We'll do some sun salutations. So there, just pick one, and it can be just to really focus on the length of your spine or things like that. So before we go there, let's bring our arms to the side. The chest is open, shoulder blades are wide and down. And then take a breath in, inhale, lift your arms up, interlace your hands, turn the palms up. And now you want to press your hips down and lift your arms up. See if you can stretch the shoulders and turn the armpits towards the front. So let's take a few breaths here, just focusing on whatever you choose to focus. So that can be holding your hands tight, can be the elbows, can be your breath, can be sitting strong. And then with your next inhale, reach a little bit higher and then turn on the exhale towards the right. So keeping your head between your arms. So we do a gentle twist and then coming back to center on an exhale. Inhale, creating length, exhaling to the left. Inhaling to the center. One more time each side. So go at the rhythm of your breath. The inhale is lengthening, the exhale is space, relaxation. So maybe if you're focusing on the twist, you forgot about your elbows. That's okay. We're not multitasking today. And release. Place your hands in the back. Even if you're seated on something, that's fine. Roll the shoulders back. This time you're going to bring the shoulder blades together, press onto your fingertips. So the fingers are pointing back. And then you're going to this time really press your belly forward, lift your chest. So lifting the chest towards the ceiling, your head follows the curve of your spine. So you always want to pay attention to that the neck is part of your spine. So that if here you would drop your head, your neck would create a bend with the rest of the spine. So continue pressing, continue breathing, especially in the chest. And then as you exhale, coming forward, this time placing the hands in front of you, fingers wide, roll the shoulders back. So you don't want to start with the shoulders forward, you want to have them wide. And then take a breath in, and as you exhale, press into your hands and start to round the spine. So if you would be doing this seated, you would have your legs together and place your hands onto your thighs. So these are things you can easily do during your day. And then let's inhale, and this time do a little bit of a back bend. So reaching the head up. So watch out that you don't just throw your head back, but that you lengthen in the neck and then look up to the ceiling. And then exhale, release. So we're gonna give those legs a little bit of free space. So bring your legs to the front, shake them out. So you've been doing the 8 limbs of yoga with Anne. So the yama, I usually remember, well, I know the yamas and the niyamas, but there's always one that pops up when I think about it. And most of the time it's ahimsa, because I think it's the most important thing of everything is no harm to us, no harm to others. And that also means no criticizing, because that's also harming. So let's come onto our knees. and bring the hands to the front of the mat. The knees a little bit behind our hips. And come into the front in a plank onto our knees. So if you need to put something under your knees, please do so. If your wrists are hurting or not so flexible, then you bring your hands a little bit more forward. Your core is active here. Don't sink in between your shoulders, but neither don't bring your chin too close to your chest. So the spine is long and neutral. You can have your knees slightly separated. Take a breath in and then press into your hands and push your hips back. Lengthen your arms. Keep your hands pressing down. I want to find length into my spine. So I'm just going to warm up the joints of the wrists, the shoulders, the knees, and the hips. And then inhale, come back to the front. So we're going to do this 3 more times. So exhaling back, but please go to the end of the movement, meaning really pulling those hips back. And then inhaling back to the front. Exhale. Inhale back to the front. And this time we're going to stay back. So our hips moving towards our heels, but we're not sitting on the heels. Look at your hands for a moment. Spread out your fingers. The thumbs are almost pointing towards each other. Don't sink into your lower spine. So see if you can bring the tailbone down towards your heels and see what happens with your lower back. See what happens with the distance between your pubic bone and your belly button, sorry. And then now press your thumb and your index into the floor. This will stabilize your lower arm. And then start to roll the inside of your elbow towards the sky. So continue pressing the thumb and the index. As you roll the inside of your elbow to the sky, your shoulders are going to widen. Your upper back is going to widen. And this is what you should find when you do downward dog. So continue with every exhale, pulling the hips back. So whatever you decided to focus on, so to have your dharana practice on today, if it's the length of the spine, keep your attention, keep your focus on your spine. If it's your breath, keep your focus on your breath. And then inhale, let's come back. Let's move our hands back. So this already gives a nice shoulder work. And then roll your shoulders back. Bring the arms, interlace the hands in the back. Keep your elbows bent. Roll the shoulders back. So I don't want to start to curve my spine. I really want to keep the lower back sacrum and the belly pubic bone almost parallel to each other. So roll the shoulders back. This time shoulder blades come together, but they're also going down. And as you're lengthening your arms, you're gliding your thumbs, your fists down onto your sacrum, on your tailbone, and lower. So hips on top of your knees. We are going into a back bend, but same thing as when we were seated. The chest is going to go up towards the sky. We're not going to bend into our lower back, or at least try not to bend into our lower back. So important, tailbone down, lift your chest. Start to roll your chest up to the sky. You can keep looking forward here if your head is too heavy, if there's too many muscles that need to work in your neck. So otherwise, let the neck just follow the curve of your spine. So I'm really opening my chest. My arms are hanging down. If it's too much for your shoulders, you can always take a strap and put it. So with everything that's in the back, you can always take a strap and then pull like this. So if you stop breathing, listen to your breath. So it's the language of your body. So if you stop breathing, go back a little bit. Find your breath again, even if that's not your focus. It's your body telling you that maybe you're going a little bit too far, or mentally that this opening of the heart might be a scary point. And then slowly release And let's sit onto our heels. So if sitting on the heels is not comfortable for your knees, the option is a blanket, a pillow behind, and then you sit here so that you're sitting a little bit higher. If that's absolutely not comfortable, just bring your legs to the front. So we're gonna sit here. Take a breath in. Again, that long, long spine. Reach your arms up, lengthen. So press your bum really onto your heels. So my big toes are touching. If you can, have your heels touching as well. So it's just a good stretch for the front of your ankles. Inhale, and this time, again, same as we did when we were seated, we're gonna turn towards the right. Arms are next to our ears, and then you bring your arms down. So left hand on the outside of your right thigh, right hand in the back. Lengthen. So there can only be rotation when there is length in the spine. Exhale. For now, have your chin in line with your breastbone, with your sternum. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And then start to look back if that's comfortable for you. So that the right shoulder is rolling down, the left shoulder is rolling down, and I'm lifting so I can lengthen and maybe go a little bit further. Don't twist with your neck if that's not comfortable for you. It's just an extra twist. And then inhale, lift your arms back up. Exhale, come back to center and release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, turn to the left. So as you exhale, you turn. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right hand on the outside of the left thigh, left hand in the back, and lengthen. So roll those shoulders back. So both shoulders, the chest is wide and open, the chin is pointing towards the sternum. If you want to go further with the neck, take a breath in and then start to look towards your left, over your left shoulder, maybe, maybe not. And then slowly coming back. Oh, with the arms up, sorry. Exhaling, coming back and release. Bring your hands again towards the front. Your knees slightly separated, and then press your right foot back and press that right heel away from you. So calf stretch. This is really a calf stretch. You avoid this stretch if you lift your right hip up. So make sure your hips remain in line. Press your hands into the mat. Push your back heel back, really pressing back. You should feel really that nice stretch into the calf muscle. And then slowly release, keep the leg long. Bring your shoulders above your wrist and start to lift your right leg. So I'm not opening with my hip. I really want to just have the heel in line with the hip. And then reach your left arm forward. So activate your core, keep on breathing. If this is too much, you can always keep your toe on the floor, big toe. And then next, bend your right knee and grab your right ankle with your left hand. If you cannot reach your ankle, grab your pants. If you cannot reach your pants or you don't have pants, place both hands on the floor. It's a different movement, but it's better than just starting to look for your leg. So if you grab your pants or your ankle, you're gonna, again, inhale, lift your thigh. So you don't wanna just lift like that. You wanna lift your thigh and drop, open your groin, your right groin. So almost as if your groin was going towards the floor and your thigh is lifting, your left shoulder is opening. If you feel it's enough, you have to decide when it's time to come out. And release. Come back onto hands and knees. And this time, lengthen the left leg, reach the, sorry, the left heel back, press into your hands. Take a breath in and a breath out. So really feeling that calf opening, feeling the hips parallel to the floor, and then coming back a little bit forward to put the shoulders on top of the wrist, lift your left leg up. So press the heel back. So if here you had some issues that you're like not very stable, you can always put your foot against the wall. So flat against the wall, it's going to give a support, but it's also going to give a response. And then reach your right arm out. Active core, long neck. Breathing. If you stop breathing, your body's telling you maybe you need to get out. Otherwise, bend your left knee, grab your left ankle, your pants, or place both hands on the floor. And then first of all, roll that right shoulder back and start to lift your thigh. Drop your groin. So we're opening the groin here and the quadriceps. And then slowly release and come back. And let's just push ourselves into a child's pose. So if child's pose is not comfortable, or if, like me, you have a scoliosis where you don't really want to put too much freedom in the front of your body, it's always good to take a bolster, a couple of blankets, and do your child's pose like this. So you have the support of something under. Otherwise, your spine is going to have to hold too many things. Take a couple of breaths here, and then reach your hands forward. Come back onto your knees. Bring the knees a little bit more behind and tuck your toes. So we're going to come with our shoulders on top of our wrists, and then just lift your knees up just a little bit. Now watch out, very often here, we're going to start to curve into the lower back. So if that's the case, come back into your neutral spine. And then bring the knees down. This time we're going to go back a little bit. So pushing the shoulders a little bit away. We're tucking our toes and we're moving into downward dog. So downward dog with the knees bent to start, the heels high, the feet as wide as your hips. So press into your hands. And then remember what we did before, rolling the inside of the elbows towards the sky so that your shoulders become wide. Lift your hips up, but don't curve your spine. So don't drop your belly towards your thigh. You want to create length in your spine. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Now, if you know that your hamstrings are tight, focus on the distance between your pubic bone and your belly button. As you start to bring the heels back and down. So it's not just down, but see if you can push the heels back and lengthen your legs, bring the heels down. Push, if your hamstrings are okay, you can push the back of your knees back. Keep that spine long. So if you feel that the distance between your belly button and your pubic bone has shortened, then you keep the knees bent. All fine. Inhale, exhale. And then very slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Bend your knees if needed. Drop your head. So really dropping the head, making space in the neck. Maybe you can shake your head a couple of times. Yes, no. And then for a moment, just watch your shoulders. As you're dropping down, most probably your shoulders are going towards your ears. Can you roll your shoulders a little bit away from your ears? Normally, we don't do that in a forward fold, but just explore a little bit. So dropping down. And now start to lengthen your legs and lengthen your spine. So most probably your hands are gonna get away from the floor. Place your hands onto your hips. Continue to lengthen your spine and strong legs, really strong legs, and come all the way up. So lots of use of the abdominals to come up. Everybody okay? I only see legs for most of you, so okay. So let's come into a standing pose. So dharana, there's many adjectives that are relevant to that. So it's holding a focus, supporting a focus, maintaining the focus, retaining the focus, steadiness. So, but the main thing is that focus on one thing. So, and this focus, so when we talk about dharana as a preparation for dhyana, which is meditation, this focus that we're going to bring can be internally, but if you would sit down, it can also be something externally. It can be a flower, it can be a candle, it doesn't matter what. The object is not really important. It's really that we are learning to focus our mind to one point. So to give the rest, everything a break. So the practices of dharana, dhyana, and then the last one, the samadhi, are very internal practices. They're busy with the mind. The rest is everything physical, the breath, the body, what you do, what you cannot do, the yamas and niyamas, and the senses for pratyahara. So we are going to do a focus. So focus, best example of that is, of course, balancing. So let's bring the hands onto the hips. First of all, make sure that you have a mountain pose. So mountain pose is strong legs. Your feet can be together or separated, whatever works best for you. Strong legs, kneecaps lifted, quadriceps active. The belly button's gonna lift up, the sternum is lifting up. Roll the shoulders back, not together, but just wide and back. The neck is long and arms onto the hips. So remember, Tadasana, mountain pose, is in every single pose that we do in yoga. There is always a part of Tadasana there. So find a focus on the floor, like about 2-3 meters in front of you, or if you prefer in front of you, that doesn't move. Really important. And then lift your right heel up. So as you do that, don't sink into your hips. So keep that left leg, Tadasana leg, open up. The hip and the knee, not too much, no rotation in the spine. And then bring the right foot at the height that works for you today. Even if you always, let's say you always go here and you're very comfortable here, maybe you want to explore this. It's a very different work that's happening. If you're here, make sure that you don't push your left hip out. So you want to push that left hip back, that left leg still as strong. And then you push your foot, your right foot, into your inner thigh. So that's if you're above the knee. If you're below the knee, then it's a lot of work in the hip stabilizers. So you can always support yourself on a wall, just the fingertips. And then focus on that point. So for now, only focus on that point. Eventually, you'll find that your body is gonna become steady. Eventually, you will find that your mind is gonna become calm and that your breath is gonna be very quiet. And if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Frustration is really what we're not looking for. Just accept that today is not a balancing day. And then from here, if you're stable and your focus is really on that one point, you can always bring your hands in front of your heart and eventually reach your arms up and test your focus. And then slowly bring the hands back in front of the heart. Back onto the hips, bring the knee forward and exhale. So come back into your Tadasana just for a moment, observing one side, the other side. Taking a breath in, going back to your focus point. Hands onto the hips, and we're going to the same height with the left leg. So lifting the heel, do everything very consciously. Opening the hip and the knee, and then coming to the same height. So again, watching out. So give yourself a couple of breaths to find a good position for your body, to find the most stable position for your body, but don't overwork it. At a certain moment, let it all be the thinking and just be in the pose. If you're falling out, it's really important that you start from the beginning. It's like, imagine if you're building a house on a bad foundation and it collapses and you continue building on top and on top. It's not going to work. And then reach your arms up. And then very slowly bring the hands in front of the heart onto your hips and come back. So I just want to share something. If you have problems with balancing, there is always the option to take a chair and just place your foot there. You're not going to lean on it, but it's really going to help to give yourself to give your body the sensation of being in balance. So just having your foot lightly, straight corners, lightly on a chair, not too high, not here, otherwise you're bending. So find a good height, and that's really going to help for balancing. Okay. This time, separate your feet quite wide. Quite wide. Placing the hands onto the hips, roll the shoulders back. So your toes are slightly pointing in. And what that does, it gives space in your sacrum and for your tailbone to move, because we're stretching a little bit the tendons in our sacrum. So we don't want to overdo this, but it's better than compressing in the lower back and then going forward. So roll the shoulders back, long spine, lift your kneecaps. So here as well, lifting the kneecaps. Now roll your fingers into your hip crease. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back, and start with a straight back. It's possible that there is a little curving happening in the lower back. That's okay. So press your hips back, long legs. So don't go too deep. If your hamstrings are short, go where your limit is. Go to that edge. That edge will move eventually. So inhale, exhale. You can do this in the morning in your kitchen with your hands on the countertop. Very good for warming up your legs, for waking up your legs. So reach your heart forward, push your hips back, find that length again into your spine. You might feel some stretch also in the inner thighs. That's okay. Inhale. And then very slowly go down with a straight back as long as you can. Otherwise, start to round your spine. Keep your legs strong. Lift your kneecaps so that your legs are really strong. Start to round your spine. Drop your head. Your hands are still on your hips for now. And then release your hands. If you can touch the floor, touch the floor. If you need a block, take a block. Roll the shoulders back away from your ears. Push your hips back. The weight is mostly on the outside of your feet. So don't exaggerate so that your inside lifts, but you should feel naturally the weight on the outside of your feet. So more length on the outside. And now release your head. Let go. And now we're going to walk our hands towards the right. And then turn the right foot towards the right toes towards the short side of our mat. And then lift the left heel. So I'm in a lounge here. Press your back heel back. If you need more stability, by all means, drop your left knee onto the floor. If your hands are not touching the floor here, don't worry, we're not going to stay here. I just want you to find length into your spine. So how can you find length? Press the heel back, reach the heart forward, and then slowly start to lift. Place your hands onto your thighs. So now again, feel the groin opening. So you don't want to have, if your knees bend, see if you can come up a little bit to feel the opening in the groin. But that's why, if you can, press your heel back, lengthen your back leg. Take a breath in. See if you can come up a little bit higher without too much curve or pain into the lower back. Absolutely not necessary. Inhale, reach up those arms. Keep on breathing. And exhale, bring the hands down. Both hands on the inside of the right foot. Walk your hands back to the center. If you can, with the hands on the floor, this time lengthen the spine. You can look forward. My toes are pointing slightly in. I find space, so there should be no compression at the sacrum and never pain in the lower back, ever. And then slowly start to walk your hands towards the left. Twist onto your left heel so that your toes point to the short side of your mat. Twist onto the ball mount of your right foot so that the heel lifts up. And bend your left knee. Press your right heel back. Look forward. Lengthen your spine. And then slowly lift. And maybe release a little bit into the hips. So if your balance is off, when you're trying to balance and it doesn't work, we're going to tense in certain muscles that will not help you in any way to release in others. So if your balance is off, drop your knee down and then just let your hips sink down. Inhale, exhale. And then again, place your hands on the inside of your left foot. Walk back to the center. This time, place your hands onto your hips. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back. Bend your knees very slightly so you have a little bit more push into your feet. And come back up and back together. So I wanted to do at least 2 sun salutations. So I assume you all know the sun salutations. So really think now, what will be my focus? And if you don't follow the rhythm, it's absolutely fine. You're all going to do your own version of sun salutation. I will guide you. But if you have your own version, or if you're focusing on your breath and you're going slower or faster, I really ask you to do that. So just for this 2 sun salutations, just to focus on whatever you choose. Okay? So let's come to the front of the mat. And if you lose your focus, it's okay. As long as you become aware of that, and then you can come back to it. So again, our beautiful Tadasana mountain pose. Take your time for your mountain pose. Take a breath in, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward from the hip crease. Bend your knees in time, so roll in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, place your hands on your tibia, on your thighs, or on the floor to lengthen your spine, lengthen your legs. So here it's important to have your hands high enough so you can have your legs long, your spine long, your shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. Bring the right leg back and the left leg back and come into a plank. Inhale, exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. So make sure the elbows move back. And then inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Pubic bone remains on the floor in cobra. Exhale, press yourself up in downward facing dog. Take 1 or 2 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Lift your right leg up as high as you can. And then swing your right foot between your hands. And the left foot follows. And again, inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. This time, bend your knees, lengthen your spine so that you support your lower back as you come up. So work is done in the legs. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, down. So one more, your own version. Inhaling up with your own focus. If you go for a long spine, make it a long spine, make it long legs. Exhale, folding, letting go. Left leg back, right leg back, plank. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And then inhale, lift that left leg up as high as you can. Keep the rest in downward dog. And then swing your left foot in between your hands. Right foot follows. And then inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, straighten your back. Work with your butt muscles to bring yourself up and protect your lower back. And exhale. Stay where you are. See if you can keep the focus on whatever you decided, even if that's your little toe, that's fine. Focus on the little toe. It doesn't have to serve necessarily the asana. It has to serve your mind, to calm the mind. Take a breath in, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring the hands down, and this time bring the right foot back for warrior 2. So heels in line, back toes pointing to the long side of your mat, and then windmill your arms up. And we're just gonna stay here for a moment. So bring your hands onto your hips just for a moment. You wanna have your hips as parallel with the long side of your mat as possible. The front knee, if it falls in, it comes from the hip. So place your hand onto your thigh and roll the thigh out. So the hip is gonna actually roll out. And now the weight of your back leg. So your back leg is your Tadasana leg here, your mountain pose leg. So the weight is on the outside of your foot. The front foot, the weight is more on the inside, on the ball mount. And if you really focus on that for a moment, feel maybe how more solid you are into your legs. Our legs are our anchor for this pose. And then open your arms to the side. So stretch from your armpits to the fingertips. For a moment, turn the palms up, roll the shoulders back, feel the shoulder blades moving down into your back. So not shoulders to the ears, but really a lot of space. Stretch out. Turn the back hand down to the floor without moving your shoulder, and then go into warrior 4, dancing warrior. Don't lift your knee, but open up the left side of your body. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly coming back into your warrior 2. Start to lengthen the left leg, the front leg, lengthening. And then lift your left arm up. Right arm goes down. And then your left arm is going to stay next to your ear, and we're going to bend from the hip crease for triangle. So just go down, down, down. Don't drop your head. Go down. Stay with a straight upper body. And then bring your hand wherever on your leg. So your hand can be there, but because we don't want to go here. We want to keep that upper body, the spine very straight, the neck in line. When you found that, so again, we're not doing too much of this, because then we have a bend in the waist. So when you're good here, reach your right arm up, and now roll the right shoulder back. Roll the ribs back. Roll that right hip back. So we're leaning back almost, opening up, finding length into the spine. So it's constantly that game of opening up and then finding length again. And then slowly coming back up. Place your hands onto your hips, bend your front knee, and bring the toes towards the front. And feet together. Come back to the front of your mat. Find your mountain pose. Always take the time to find your mountain pose. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees if you need to. Place the hands down. Left leg goes back for warrior two. So check your heels. Make sure your back foot and your front foot are solidly planted into the floor, and then windmill your arms up. So hips and shoulders are in one line. Maybe you can bend your knee a little bit more. Press the outside of the back foot, strong back leg. Thigh, knee in line with the middle toes. Roll the shoulders back. So if you need to do the lifting of the palms to help you roll the shoulders back, that's perfect. Otherwise, just turn the front palm up and then come into your warrior four. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly coming back. Lengthen the right leg. Lift your right arm next to your right ear, left arm alongside. And now you're going to bend towards the right, reaching forward with that right arm until probably the inner thigh is your limit. So lengthening, and then place your hands somewhere on your right leg. Lift your left arm up. And as you do that, start to roll the left shoulder, left ribs, left belly, left hip, back. And then slowly coming back to center. Bend your front knee and both feet pointing forward. Bring your feet a little bit closer. Not too close, so wider than your hips. Toes are going out. So we're still focused on whatever point you chose to focus on. And then start to bend your knees. So your knees are always going to the direction of your toes to protect the knees. They're not meant to do crazy things. So bend. If you have knee problems, sit on a block or something. If your heels are lifting, you can always place something under your heels. And then I would suggest to do this 1 minute a day. And in a week, you're down onto your heels. Open your arms. Roll the shoulders back. So really press with your arms into your legs, into your knees. And then bring the palms together. So it's gardening season starting soon. So perfect position to do gardening. In the beginning, you might feel a little bit stiff and uncomfortable, but your back is going to be very grateful. No weight on the back. And then slowly bring the hands back and let's sit down. Open your legs wide. So if you need to sit on something because you're falling back, which is hips, hamstrings, sit on something, your fingertips to the back. Roll the shoulders back. Find your sitting bones. Your toes are pointing up, your knees are pointing up. Roll the shoulders back. So again, we don't want to press the belly button forward. Very often when we tilt a little bit too much into the hips, our lower back is going to curve, compression. So we don't want that. We want to keep that length. Take a breath in, and then if you can, from the hip crease. So we're not folding forward. We're keeping the spine long. Lift your toes up. So your feet are not just flopping out. Inhale, exhale. Don't force it. Big muscles in our legs. We use them all the time. So if you force them, then it's going to take a long time to heal. If you want, you can always place your hands in the front. If you are flexible, you can always go deeper, but do it consciously. Don't just do it because you can do it. Feel what's going on in your body. Explore which could bring you something more, or explore which adjustments could bring you more comfort. So less discomfort. And then slowly coming back. Close your legs. Maybe you want to shake them out a little bit. And we're just going to do one twist and then we'll go to the floor. So bring your right foot in. So very often when we do twists like that, we're told to bring the heel right into the buttock. So if you do that, very often what happens, I cannot do that if and keep my spine straight. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe for you it does. So explore. If I walk my feet a little bit more to the front, oh, I can lengthen my spine. I have more space. So reach the arms up. Find length. And then place your left hand around your right knee. Reach up again. And then we're starting to twist and place your hand down. So my left leg is very strong. I can give a hug to my right knee if I want to. And then lengthen. Roll the shoulders back. Lengthen your neck. If you have supper coming soon, this is a good opener for your internal organs. Keep on breathing. Feel the breath in the belly. Every exhale, maybe you find a little bit more space. And again, it's up to you to add the neck or not. Otherwise, you just look forward. Forward being the direction of your sternum. And then very slowly coming back. Change legs. So again, explore. If I bring my heel all the way to my buttocks, is that comfortable? How is my spine? Can I find length? If not, explore. Walk your left foot a little bit more to the right knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, right hand on the left knee. Inhale, lengthen, and then start to rotate. Place the left hand in the back. You can hug your left knee, gives a little bit more support, but the twist has to come from inside. So it's not by pulling on everything that you're going to get to the twist. So really see if I'm lengthening, and can I then from the inside, from my belly, from my chest, rotate towards the left. And then very slowly coming back to center. So bend your knees, your feet at the end of your mat. Place your hand underneath your thighs and slowly roll yourself all the way down. Bring your knees towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your tibia. So if it's just your hands, it's okay if you can wrap completely around. So very often when we do this and we want to wrap around, we're going to lift our sacrum and our bum off the floor. This is not what we want. We don't want to round the spine. So see if you can keep your sacrum on the floor. So maybe you have to place just your hands below your knees. See if you can lower a little bit onto your tibia. Your neck is long, your shoulders are relaxed, and now press your tibia down and feel what that does to your lower back and your sacrum. You can relax your feet. So bring the thighs a little bit closer to your belly, but pushing into the tibia. And maybe it's going to give a little bit more stability onto your sacrum. So it's work, like it's not that we're relaxing now. And then release. Open your arms in a T and gently drop your knees towards the right. So don't force too much. If your shoulder lifts, if your knees don't touch, if it's uncomfortable, you prop yourself. Otherwise, just let the gravity open up where it needs to open up. So for me, my left shoulder is lifting here. On this side, my knees are on the floor. If it would be an active pose, I would probably press my left thigh down and press my left shoulder down. Just let it be now. And then slowly back to center. Stay there for a breath. And then go to the other side. And then back to center. Place your feet on the floor so your knees are bent. So first of all, place your hands behind your head. So where the skull and the cervical spine touch, interlace your hands and pull the skin of your skull away from you. So we're lengthening the neck. So the chin might come a bit closer to your chest. That's okay, not to the point that you can't breathe. So we want to have that long neck. And then maybe you want to roll the shoulders a little bit under just to keep the chest open, but no tension in the shoulder. Arms 45 degrees or whatever feels comfortable for your shoulders. Gently press into your feet, lift your bum and round your spine so that you can almost like you really want to roll your lower back down onto the floor. And then come down. And now lengthen your left leg to the corner, right leg to the corner, and let your feet drop flop out. So whatever your focus was for your practice, I invite you to choose to let it go now or to continue to focus on it. Maybe you just want to connect with your whole body now, unconsciously, by letting go. So with every breath, we let go a little bit more. So in the comfort of your home, you can stay here as long as you want. However, if supper is calling, very consciously reconnect with your breath. Taking a breath in and a breath out. And then connecting with your toes, your feet, your ankles, so very consciously, as if you just discovered them. Same with the hands, very consciously. If it's okay, you can gently sway your head from side to side, start to make some faces, a big smile, a yawn, whatever you need, whatever comes up. And then taking a deep breath in, stretching out your legs, stretching out your arms. And then as you exhale, bring the knees into the chest and roll over onto your right side. If that's comfortable for you, if it's not, roll to the left side. And then slowly make your way into a comfortable seat. So we can only sit in meditation. We can only calm the mind when the body is calm. And so if we're interrupted by the body because of aches, pains, or discomfort, the mind will never be still. So that's why an asana practice, a pranayama practice, and a pratyahara practice are absolutely very important before you can start dharana or dhyana, concentration and meditation. It all goes together. Yoga is union, so everything is connected. So let's bring our hands in front of the heart, palms together or palms on top of each other, whatever calls you today. Let's close off with one Om. So taking a breath in. May your thoughts be peaceful, your words kind and respectful, and may your heart always be filled with love. Thank you for sharing. I wish you a wonderful evening. Namaste.